Presented by Honda. We've been fans since day one. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
It's a little cool here in Baltimore, but it certainly doesn't diminish the enthusiasm of baseball fans. Look at this youngster out in the outfield, anxious to get a peek of his hometown Orioles, running to the edge of the fence saying, Dad, where's Adam Jones? Where's Manny Machado? What a great sight to see a youngster like that at the ballpark. Looks like he's got some snacks in his hand. He's ready for 9 innings of baseball. John Gibbons and the Blue Jays, they went 2 of 3 against Texas, the first road stop of the season, and the ball club is really doing a great job of coming up with clutch hits, hitting .348 as a team with runners in scoring position. The Blue Jays last year went 7-12 against the Orioles. They were just 3-6 in this ballpark. They hope to improve upon that. Curtis Granderson, he's back in the lineup, leadoff spot, 4-game hit streak, 6 for his last 12. He had a pitch base hit down in Texas. And Devin Travis, boy, this is what Devin needs right now. Devin is just 3 for 27, and he has hit well against the Orioles. Maybe this is the club that'll get him going this season.
They are in tough tonight against a right-hander with some nasty stuff in Dylan Bundy, who gets ready for his 3rd start of the season. He's their most dependable starter so far in 2018. He's allowed just 1 earned run over his first 13 innings pitched with 15 strikeouts, just 3 walks. That came against Minnesota and Houston, 2 very good hitting ball clubs. And this team, he's taken his next step, I think, in his it's a positive step in his career, as he has really become the ace, I think, of the staff last season. Capped it off with a 1-hit shutout against the Mariners back in August. So Dylan Bundy has been tough against the Blue Jays in the past. I'm sure he'll be tough again tonight.
In that 1-hit shutout against Seattle, he walked just 2 and struck out 12. A terrific right-hander that's healthy. He had Tommy John surgery in 2013, and this is what they expected from Dylan Bundy when they took him 4th overall in the 2011 draft. So Granderson is in the box. Bundy is set. Caleb Joseph will flash the signs. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. It is in there for a strike, and we are underway. 6 degrees at the start of play. Just about like Arlington. Granderson 364 in the early going. Fastball inside. That's the one thing they talk about Bundy's improvement, his command of his fastball.
A 4-seam fastball. He can go down with it. He can go up with it. He can go in and out with it. His slider has been improved also.
Bundy a year ago went 13-8 for the Orioles. 28 starts. He threw a total of 169 2/3 innings. But he did give up some home runs.
Yeah, you look at his fly ball rate, and it's a high fly ball rate, so you figure the home run rate is up there also. Playing in this type of ballpark where the ball flies, it's not a real big ballpark. It's a hitter's background, hitter's field. Plus in the American League East, he'll give up his share of fly balls.
Fly ball down the left side. Long run. That ball is out of play. Trey Mancini is in left field. Granderson was limited to defensive and pinch hitting roles in Arlington with 3 left-handed starters on the mound for Texas.
Gibby did a good job of getting him in there when he could as a defensive replacement. He also had him as a pinch hitter. He got an at bat down there. There's the improvement right there. Hard breaking ball.
1 away. Let's check out the defense behind Dylan Bundy. The Orioles always a very good defensive ball club. In the outfield is Mancini, Jones, and Santander in right. At shortstop is the former 3rd baseman and 2-time Gold Glover Manny Machado.
3-time All-Star Manny Machado will begin the season and finish the season as a shortstop. Didn't play a game there last year, but he got into 43 games at shortstop in 2016. He wanted to move over there. Well, Showalter said okay, so he basically flip-flopped positions with Tim Beckham, who starts at 3rd.
Donaldson goes after the first pitch and hits it high and foul into the seats. Josh 9 for 38 early on. He has a double, 2 homers, and he's driven in 5.
The Oriole pitchers the last couple of years, at least the right-handers, have had success against the Blue Jays by pounding the outside corner and using their slider off the plate to the right-handers. Bundy's going to do that, I think, all night tonight. Against the right-handers, Donaldson, Pierce, Martin, Pilar. Watch where the catcher, Caleb Joseph, sets up, especially with 2 strikes. He'll set up off the plate against the right-handers and either throw that fastball out there or the slider off the plate.
Joseph making his 7th start behind the plate. He wants his fastball up and in. Missed out over the plate. But Scope is right there. The second baseman throws out Donaldson. 2 up, 2 down here in the top half of the first. Well, we mentioned Justin Smoke and a great start. He's off to 13 for 37 with 5 doubles and 2 home runs. He's also driven in 10.
Basically picking up where he left off 2017. There are his numbers so far in 10 games this season. They're even better. Growing as a hitter, you can watch him. There used to be a time where you could bounce breaking balls or throw high fastballs to him, but now Smokey just takes them. He gets deep into counts, really works the pitcher, and he's got a great plan up there when he's hitting.
First pitch curveball missed downstairs for ball 1. Hit hard and foul past Tim Leeper, the first base coach. Ball on a strike. Change up away. But notice the location of those first 2 pitches. They're just right down at the bottom of the zone. And Bundy has really improved his control.
There's that high fastball. He can live up there. He's got enough fastball to pump it up there against some of these hitters. What you have to do is you've got to be disciplined enough to let it go.
Good changeup. Good start for Dylan Bundy. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts. He got Granderson on a slider, gets Smoke on a changeup. Jay Happ will take the hill when we come back to Baltimore. These Orioles in the right frame of mind to start this season. They bounced back a bit. They're 4-6, 4th in the American League East. Let's take a look at the lineup. Adam Jones, and the Blue Jays know all about Adam Jones. He's hit 35 home runs, driven in 90 against the Blue Jays in 174 career games. Tim Beckham, the 3rd baseman, he's had good numbers against Jay Happ. The Blue Jays started tonight, 6 for 12. A pair of doubles, a home run, and an RBI.
What a grinding series they just came off of in New York, taking 3 out of 4 against the Yankees, so they will face Jay Happ. Jay is making his 3rd start of the season, coming off a 9 strikeout performance against the White Sox, but struggled with a high pitch count. So he was only able to go 5 1/3 innings. Last year lost all 3 of his starts to the Orioles. But in his career, he's had some big strikeout games against Baltimore. A 12 strikeout game and an 11 strikeout game.
Career high 12 strikeouts against the Orioles. This is Trey Mancini. Not your prototypical leadoff guy, but he's hitting in the top of the order for Buck Showalter. He's 9 for 39 to start the season.
You know who they tried at the leadoff spot at the beginning of the season? It was Chris Davis, the big slugging first baseman with a high on-base percentage, but that didn't really work out. Buck Showalter took him and put him back down in his familiar spot.
Mancini slaps it through the right side of the infield. Inside out, base hit. Leadoff single here in the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at the defense, and it's a different alignment in the outfield. Granderson, Pilar, and Steve Pearce playing in right field, and Kendrys Morales gets the nod over at first.
Yeah, Justin Smoak's going to DH tonight, so Kendrys is going to be over there at first base. He's familiar with first base. He made 12 starts there last year, and for his career, this is his 399th game at first base, 371st career start at first, so he's familiar with that position.
This is Manny Machado. Machado batting .310, and he got off to a slow start. He had a good series in New York. Things starting to turn around, and like so many managers, Machado's hitting in the 2 spot. Get that tough out in that 2 spot, get him to the plate. He's 7 for his last 15 over the last 3 games.
Makes it doubly tough as that ball is just over the new screen above the dugouts, but it makes it doubly tough when that leadoff batter's on base. Now you got to face somebody like Machado or Donaldson for the Blue Jays, Mike Trout when he's with the Angels.
So managers are looking for high on base percentage in the leadoff spot and a slugger in the number 2 spot. Two and 1 to Machado.
Back in the day, you would have a guy who could handle the bat in the number 2 hole, a guy who could bunt, could run a little bit, could slap the ball all over. Now, they're playing for the big inning early.
3-1. The Orioles are off to a slow start with the bats, coming into this game batting just .210, 4th worst average in the majors. They've also struck out a lot, 116 strikeouts so far, averaging over 11 strikeouts a game. That should play into Jay Happ's hand. As you mentioned, he's had good strikeout games against the Orioles.
Fastballs. They've had trouble catching up with some of the fastballs early on. They're a good fastball hitting team, but early on they haven't been able to catch up to it. Now, another reason why they're striking out a lot, look who they're facing. Houston, the New York Yankees, big strikeout type of pitching staffs.
Machado takes ball 4 down and away. So the first 2 reach here in the first against Jay Happ. We mentioned it's 6 degrees. Really not much breeze at all, so that makes it as comfortable as possible. But it's difficult for the hitters and the pitchers. Jonathan Scope, just a single home run and 1 RBI so far this season. Really been 105 last year.
Really came into his own last year. That's why Buck Showalter has him hitting in a very important position, number 3. He's got power to all fields. He's won some games against the Blue Jays by hitting the ball to right field. But if you make a mistake inside, he's liable to turn on it.
Late on that pitch and foul back out of play.
Jay's really come up with a good 2-seamer. I think that really works well with his 4-seam fastball. When he's able to get that thing down and away to right-handers, he has a lot of success with it.
And 2. Call strike 3. Russell wanted that fastball upstairs. Jay missed downstairs, but he gets the strikeout.
Yeah, he wanted that thing up and in, and sometimes when you miss your spot, it still works out for you. Russell gave that sign, give me the fastball, give it to me up. I don't know if Scope was sensing that or not, but Tough, he didn't pull the trigger on this one. It's right down the middle. You couldn't split the plate any better than that.
So now Scope's thinking that Happ wanted to pitch him down. Might set up well for the next impact. One out, runners at first and second for Adam Jones. Goes after the breaking ball and fouls it off. We mentioned Jones playing his 175th game against the Blue Jays. He has 35 homers and 90 RBIs against Toronto.
Off to a good start this season. 3 home runs already for Jonesy in 10 games. One of those opening day walk-off home run against Minnesota.
Second straight year the Orioles have had a walk-off home run opening day. Mark Trumbo did it to the Blue Jays last year. That's one thing about Happ. He has the strikeout pitch to get him out of these jams. He had a soft single to right and a walk to start the inning. Then he strikes out Scope. Now he's ahead of Jones.
He's got that fastball that he can throw right at the letters. He's got a high spin rate, and I think that's why that ball jumps on those hitters. Believe me, the Baltimore Orioles know all about Jay Happ. They know about that fastball and how he likes to use it.
There's the fastball for the strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts. They mentioned the Orioles now have struck out 118 times as a team. There's a lot of swing and miss in this lineup. The Orioles, they strike out at a higher rate than anybody in the American League. 28.2% of the time they strike out. The Blue Jays aren't far behind them. But the Astros, boy, they strike out, but boy, are they getting great pitching right now.
That's the team on that list that really surprised me. The Rays set a record with strikeouts, so we knew that they had a high strikeout rate, and both of these teams hit a lot of home runs. We figure their strikeout rate's high, but the Astros, they score a bunch of runs, hit a lot of home runs, do a lot of good things offensively. I think they'd be on that list.
Chris Davis quickly behind 0-2. Davis just 4 for 20 going up against Jay Happ, but he's got a couple of homers. There's a big hole upstairs in that swing of Chris Davis.
Yeah, he likes it, but you better get it up there.
Who has the advantage on a cold night like this, the hitter or the pitcher?
You're talking to an ex-hitter. It's the pitcher. I hated hitting in these types of games where it's cold. You're just praying that you would hit that ball squarely so your hands, you could feel them for a couple of innings.
Strike 3 call. What a job by Jay Happ. Gives up a leadoff single, walks the second man, and it strikes out the side in order. Jay Happ had a career high 12 strikeouts against the Orioles. He strikes out the side to end the first.
Be sitting tonight mired in that 0 for 27 slump, and so the Blue Jays had to decide who to start in right field. They threw around the idea of perhaps Yangervis Solarte getting the nod, but then after hitting 2 home runs in as many games, John Gibbons and the staff decided to go with Steve Pearce, and he's out there in right, and it's a healthy Steve Pearce to open the 2018 season. He told me that's the biggest factor. I need to stay on the field. Now, Pierce admitted last year he was pressing after the slow start, that he got out of his comfort zone and tried to create. He said, from there, I just spiraled. Pierce said, I'm not changing my approach no matter where I am in the lineup. Guys?
Well, Steve Pierce certainly turned things around, and he did get off to a slow start. But he's swinging the bat well right now. For Pierce, they had that first pitch home run in the game. That was his 16th home run on the first pitch. And it was the 9th time a Blue Jay has homered on the first pitch of a ball game.
So what does Dylan Bundy do?
Goes on the first pitch.
First pitch fastball right there, and Steve just missed it. Just fouled it back. They've also moved him down in the lineup to help him get some more RBIs. Electing to hit Granderson lead off today, put Pierce in the cleanup role.
Base hit through the left side. Steve Pierce comes up with a base hit his first time. First base runner for the Blue Jays.
After a couple of strikeouts in the first inning, good start for the Blue Jays here. Let's take a look at the scatter report for Dylan Bundy. Fastball slider, that's basically what you're going to get, and it's an improved slider. Talked to some of the Blue Jays today. They said he's got a good one last year. He's got a better one this year. He's about 93, 94, 95 miles an hour, mixing a changeup every now and then and a curveball every now and then. But that slider is the key. He's got one of the highest percentage of strikeouts via the slider this season in the American League.
First baseman Kendrys Morales with Pierce at first. Morales had a big first inning home run yesterday, part of that 4-run first inning against Cole Hamels. 3-run shot to the bullpen in right center. His first home run of the season. He also had a single. He was 2 for 4 in the afternoon.
This guy, the Blue Jays have to get going. He had a good year last year, drove in over 85 runs.
There's a drive that's going to get down. Pierce is around second. He's headed for third. Morales will stop at first, and the Blue Jays have something going here in the second.
And they seem to be getting him going with a big series and a big game yesterday in Texas, and now against Bundy, right on top of the plate, and yanks that ball that's going down and away. That's a two-seamer designed to get a ground ball, but it's up in the strike zone, and Morales, that's right where he likes it, and rips it for a single to right field.
Russell Martin. Martin did not play yesterday. Had a big game Friday night in Arlington. Steve Pierce singled to start the inning. The significance of that single, his 500th career major league hit. Congratulations, Steve. Always a milestone for sure.
Something's going on with Morales.
Yeah, absolutely. Lieber just called for the trainer.
Not real sure. Didn't see what happened, but it looks like maybe he took his secondary lead, and on the swing and miss by Martin on his way back to the bag, maybe he hurt something.
Well, he is a tough guy, and he did something that caught his attention.
Well, let's watch him after he swings the bat. He smokes. Everything looks fine there. He's running well. Nothing wrong there. It must have been on the way back to the base after that swing and miss. Let's see. This is the first pitch to Russell.
He feels something right there. He started to limp, and he walked back to the base and asked for time. Jose Minestrali, assistant trainer, went out to attend to Morales.
Just from watching him, it looks like some kind of lower body issue. Look at it,
Hammy.
right hamstring.
He's messing with his hammy. First and third for Russell Martin. 0-1 pitch. Hit back to Bundy, and they've got Pierce hung up at third, and Bundy made a nice play. Pierce took a fatal step toward home, and you know, that's a tough play. You think, okay, don't let him turn two, but at the same time, it's early in the game, and you probably want him to stay put at third base.
Yeah, especially they've exchanged the runners, and Morales is now the runner in scoring position. He showed that he looks like he's having some trouble with his hamstring. John Gibbons is going to come out. He might go with a pinch runner now.
Bundy made a nice play, and Beckham was right there to take the throw as they tag out Pierce. He took one step toward home, and you're right. They're going to make a move here. And Solarte is going to come on.
Smoke is the DH.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Solarte can play first. He's played everywhere.
If Smoke came in and played first base, the Blue Jays would lose the DH. So no sense chancing anything now.
Well, it's so early in the season, and Morales, you know, he's been swinging the bat great. You don't want him to aggravate an injury and make it worse than it is. So he'll get out of the game. They'll attend to it, and Solarte will take over as a pinch runner at second base.
I was watching him on this hit, and he was just jogging. Something's bothering him now. See, it's the right move to take him out, because if there's a base hit by Pilar, he wasn't going to score. And it's about scoring and trying to win the ball game. And if you're not feeling right, you may as well get out, get some treatment, and be ready for tomorrow.
Kevin Pilar has hit well against the Orioles for his career, over 300 with 23 RBIs. Head-to-head against the starter Dylan Bundy, 2 for 10. And there is Solarte, takes over as a pinch runner, and it's going to work out all right. He's swinging the red-hot bat right now.
The moves that the Blue Jays had in the wintertime pay off again. They get a guy sitting on the bench, an experienced major leaguer who can play different positions. We've seen him at third base, second base. Now we're going to see him over at first base. Going to have to stretch those legs and get him loose. He was now not out here running before the ball game.
2-0. Now it's 3-0 to Pilar. Solarte's at second, pinch running for Morales. Steve Pierce started it with a single. Morales single. Martin reached on a fielder's choice. 3-0 to Pilar. A 4-pitch walk. We had praised Bundy for his command, and Pilar walks on 4 pitches to load the bases for Devin Travis.
Just his 4th walk of the season for Bundy.
Well, we mentioned Travis last year hit .367 against the Orioles, 11 for 30 with 2 doubles, a home run, and 6 RBIs. This is the right uniform he's been looking for.
And he's getting closer. When you watch him hit over the last couple of days down in Texas, you can see the timing. It's getting close.
Got to get a strike in this situation.
We ran into him today right around 3:30 down in the tunnel. He was going down to do some work down in the cages, and he was his happy-go-lucky self. You know, if you didn't know he was scuffling at the plate, you wouldn't know it by talking to him.
Not at all. Chases that pitch off the plate inside, and it's 1-1 now. Now Devin got off to a slow start a year ago. This season he's just 3 for 27. 1 walk and 10 strikeouts. Good moving fastball down and in. This is where the Blue Jays have really turned things around from last year, batting with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, you got to get into that 2-strike swing right now. 2 hard sinking fastballs trying to get a ground ball, and Travis has swung right through him. So now you got to shorten up your swing and make contact. Same pitch.
Came right back to the same spot. Marcus Stroman hollering encouragement. Josh Donaldson, he's going to play first, it looks like. I'll play first. So then Solarte will move over to third base. 1-2 to Devin Travis. There's that slider. He hadn't been able to command that effectively. He got Granderson to swing and miss with a slider the first at bat of the game, but since then he hasn't had success with it.
Yeah, bounced too many of them. Blue Jays got to make sure that he gets it in that strike zone. I like the approach right there on that slider from Travis. He didn't move. His strength is going the other way.
Oh, he laid off that pitch. Look at all four of those pitches bunched up, down, and in. That's the first one he hadn't chased.
And they're all for the same kind of pitches. A two-seam fastball, about 92 or 93 miles an hour, trying to get it on the ground.
You saw Diaz on deck if Travis can stay out of a double play. Strikes out. There was that slider. 3 strikeouts so far for Bundy.
Only Luis Severino has a higher strikeout percentage with the slider than Dylan Bundy, and he goes to the old bread and butter pitch. There it is right there, 3-2. After all those fastballs inside, you figure he's going to go outside with that slider.
Ledmus Diaz was 0 for 4 in the game yesterday in Texas, and he chases the slider on the first pitch. Diaz did not play Friday night in Arlington. He's gone 0 for 7 in his last 2 games.
He's got a high slider percentage. Throws a lot of them. He throws a lot of them for strikes.
Chris Siegel is a home plate umpire. He had a good look at that last fastball. Blue Jays managed just 3 wins here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards last year. Bundy trying to do what Jay Happ did in the bottom of the first. Leave the base runners on. Happ struck out the side. Bundy's got a strikeout now, a strike away from stranding the bases loaded. Fastball hit in the air to him. Anthony Santander is there. Bundy indeed leaves the bases loaded. He gets a strikeout and a fly ball to end the inning. Go to the bottom of the second.
behind the scenes with personal stories from the game. The first episode has been dropped. A terrific listen. You can grab it wherever you get your podcasts. There's Solarte, who the Blue Jays have thought about starting in right field tonight, but they wanted to keep Pierce's bat in the lineup. Now, with Morales out, it's Josh Donaldson who moves over to first base. Solarte will play third. Pierce, meanwhile, John Gibbons said, ideally, he would play first base for us, but there's a bit of a logjam at that position, guys.
And now Donaldson is over at first. This is his 5th career game playing at first. He's made 1 career start, but that was way back in 2010 when he was with Oakland.
The last time he played a game at first base was 2013 with Oakland. 10 career innings at first base. He gets it tonight. Boy, that's unfortunate. Kendrys Morales gets the start at first base. He's first, and he lasts for 1 inning. Gets 1 at bat, gets a base hit, has to leave.
He was out during batting practice fielding a lot of ground balls, moving around quite a bit, so he looked like he was getting ready and anticipating this cool evening. Danny Valencia tried to check his swing, the former Blue Jay here with the Orioles now. Valencia, he's got a little power. He's got a home run and 2 RBIs, just 2 for 12 in the early part of the season. He gets jammed, and nice play by Donaldson, but he missed half. Donaldson ranging wide to his right. It looked like Travis was going to be able to make the play, but Donaldson couldn't hit Happ on the fly.
Team defense. And when you're playing a new position, you're not real sure who's going to go where, but you're right. Travis was there to make the play, and it would have been an easier throw for Devin because he was facing Jay Happ, a little bit more secure and hitting a moving target.
And you can say Donaldson didn't get a lot on that throw, and he's been bothered by that shoulder issue most of the season. So it's an air charge to Donaldson as the first baseman. That brings Tim Beckham to the plate, and as we mentioned, he's got good numbers against Happ. 6 for 12 for his career. You know, the one thing that I'm very impressed with when watching Jay Happ, he just has no fear. He comes right back after an air, doesn't try to get too cute with Beckham. He knows Beckham's hitting well on the pass, but he throws strike 1 to get ahead.
Well, he's a pro's pro, you know, and he's there saying, okay, we got an error to lead off the inning. I'm going to pick up my teammate right here. I'm going to make a good pitch. And if he makes a good pitch, he'll get a ground ball, and his defense will help him out.
Drive, base hit to right. Pierce plays it on a hop, gets it back into the infield. Beckham's 7th career hit against Happ. So the air factors in here. There's runners at first and second, no out for Anthony Santander.
2 innings in a row now. The first 2 batters hit on. Tried to cut that ball away from Beckham, and the Orioles, we mentioned their series against the Yankees. How they took 3 out of 4, and a couple of them they were comeback victories. So there's a never die attitude with this Oriole team offensively.
It's a veteran team. They got a good group of veterans, and they know that you just got to keep grinding. Donaldson at first, trying to figure out who's going to have coverage of the bag. Should he get a grounder? Checking in with Diaz and Travis up the middle. Anthony Santander, a Rule 5 player taken by the Orioles in December of 2016. Last year he was injured most of the season, so they need to keep him in the big leagues. He's playing now in his 8th game this year. Has a home run and 4 RBIs.
29 more days. He has to be in the big leagues, and then he will cover the time that he added last year to make it a full season. Buck Showalter really likes this kid. Thinks he's got a bright future. He's a big, powerful, strapping kid with some power.
Just 23 years old from Venezuela.
I told him today, I said, Buck, if he keeps hitting the way he's hitting, you're going to keep him in the big leagues. You won't have to send him down.
Managers are funny like that, aren't they?
Got a home run and 4 RBIs. He's hitting just over 200. They gave him the green light the other day in New York, 3-0. And he hit a 3-run home run. So the manager showed a lot of faith in him.
2-2 pitch. Popped in the air. That's going to be over the dugout and out of play. Well, Jay Happ pitched out of a bases loaded situation. Excuse me, first and second situation. Struck out the side. They got Scope, Jones, and Davis. Meat of the order.
Yeah. Don't have to do it again. I'll take a strikeout and a ground ball. Make things a little bit easier for Jay. That was the problem in his last start against the White Sox. A high pitch count.
From 9 hitter, the catcher Caleb Joseph on deck. Full count, nobody out. You wouldn't expect the runners to be running. Valencia reached on an air. He's at second. Beckham had a base hit to right. He's at first. Not running. Cut on and missed. Another strikeout for Happ. That's 4 in the ball game. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball.
And if you were following the pitch tracker that time, an elevated fastball from Jay Happ did the trick.
Caleb Joseph, the catcher, just 2 for 23 so far this season. He takes strike 1. Mentioned Happ had his career high 12 strikeouts against the Orioles. That was August 7th, 2014 at Rogers Center. But he lost that game 2-1. Caleb Joseph hit a 2-run home run in the 4th inning of that ball game, the only runs the Orioles scored.
From a guy who had trouble hitting home runs a couple of years ago, driving in some runs, but he's become the #1 catcher for this team. He made a play yesterday that they were still talking about today, a 1-2-5 double play. It's a comebacker with the bases loaded to the catcher. Then instead of throwing the first, he threw the third.
Boy, that high fastball doing a number for Happ so far. First time through the lineup, 5 strikeouts for Happ. And we told you the Orioles have been punching out a lot early on.
We figured it would be a good matchup for Jay. Going upstairs, that's where you want to throw a high fastball. It clocks in at 94 miles an hour. And a half-hearted swing right there from Joseph. Wasn't real sure if he should swing at it or not.
Trey Mancini had a single into right field his first time up. Mentioned the Orioles averaging over 12 strikeouts per game so far this season. Check that, over 11 strikeouts, 11.6. That's a strike, boy. He is pounding that fastball in there, upstairs and down.
Cutting the ball. And, you know, I asked him this week, I said, is there something that you're concerned with? Said, I'm having trouble getting my 4-seam fastball in on right-handers. It's starting to cut just a little bit too much. Says, I got to keep reminding myself to stay on top of the baseball. Felt like he was leaning back too much on his way going home, and that was getting his hand more on the side of the baseball, and his 4-seam fastball, especially the righties, were cutting inside and off the plate. So he made the adjustment. So far, so good.
1-2 to Mancini. Another high fastball too far away. 2-2 now.
That's why I think
has done a great job commanding that fastball.
That's why I think it's so important that when you go to your side sessions and you work with Pete Walker like that, you're not just down there throwing, you're working on something. And he recognized that he was having trouble getting that four-seamer in there. So he made the adjustment with the help of his pitching coach.
Backdoor breaking ball. Mancini called out on strikes, and what a job by Jay Happ. 2 innings, 6 strikeouts. He stranded 4 base runners in each inning. The first 2 have reached, but Happ has shut him down with the strikeouts. The Blue Jays are impressive. A 3-0 record. This is his 8th game overall, his 4th career start. The Blue Jays haven't done much against him at home.
They've had trouble figuring him out. He pitched against the Blue Jays when he first came up here before he had all the surgeries. He was gone for a couple of years, but since he has come back, he's healthy. He's been able to get that fastball away. He's always tough using that slider against the Blue Jays. This is his 4th career start, 8th appearance versus Toronto.
There's a curveball that he tried to get in there for his strike. 1-1. Comes right back with it. It finds the mark.
They had to wait for him for a couple of years while he got healthy. I think they're going to be happy that they did.
Well, the one thing that he does very well is he attacks the strike zone. He doesn't mess around. He's got good command of the fastball, and you talked about his improved slider. When you throw enough fastballs, you're going to make hitters think about swinging the bat, and then you throw the slider to them, and then that's what they chase.
It is nasty. Last year against the Blue Jays, he had 3 starts and had 22 strikeouts and just 1 walk. So be ready when you step in there. He's going to be around the plate. Well, we talked about his slider being better and more effective. There's the numbers. Percentage of strikeouts via the slider. Last year about 50%. This year it's jumped to 80. There might be one more. No.
Jeff Kellogg is the crew chief. He's down at third base tonight. He said no swing, and it's a full count on Granderson. High fastball for ball 4. Second walk issued by Bundy. Leadoff man's aboard here in the 3rd for Josh Donaldson. Third walk of the season drawn by Granderson. Donaldson grounded out to the second baseman his first time.
He has been aggressive early, and when he is, he's gotten his share of hits this year. Bundy doesn't give him anything to hit.
Tough to go after that pitch.
Yeah, down and away. Not much you can do with it.
Donaldson tried to check his swing, but he's called for a swing by the first base umpire, Marvin Hudson.
It's a tight, late breaking slider to a right-hander. It looks like it's a fastball. So you start your swing, but it's tough to hold up.
But Jacoby trying to help his hitters out, figure out Dylan Bundy. Everybody's studying Bundy, see if they can't pick something up here. Donaldson waves at that breaking ball. Another strikeout for Bundy. That's 4 so far. He throws just hard enough with his fastball and has such good command that you feel like I got to get it going, and then he throws that breaking ball for the strikeout.
Yeah, you have to respect his fastball because it's got a pretty decent one. Hey, I don't care who's hitting. You're not going to do a whole lot with that pitch. Just good execution right there from the Baltimore starter.
Smoke struck out on a changeup his first time up. Bundy retired the side in order. There was a changeup to start the at-bat. It's really interesting. These two clubs are so powerful, but last year they averaged the second fewest runs among division opponents all season long. Together they averaged just under 7 runs a game. Only the Pirates and Brewers averaged fewer runs per game among division rivals.
So hard to believe with all the power that's packed into both of these lineups, and the Orioles and the Blue Jays, and where they play, that they were combined only averaged 6.5 runs last year.
And they are the first and second best home run ball club since 2012. Just doesn't figure. But the way Bundy and Happ have started this game tonight, you can understand it's hard for hitters to come up with runs scoring base hits.
There were so many games last year where these games were decided by a home run. Either late or a home run in the middle of the game. From both of these teams. You mentioned one of them already, the walk-off by Trumbo to begin the season. Wellington Castillo had a couple of home runs that won games for him late.
Right down the middle. Bundy gets smoked for a second time. Smoke was thinking about something other than that fastball, and he's caught looking.
I think that's because he started him with the changeup. He threw him a breaking ball. When you get a hitter looking for off-speed pitch, you don't have to throw it that hard. This one right there. Those are the kind where you go back at night and you see it in your sleep all night. Man, if only I swung the bat.
So Granderson's still at first. He drew the leadoff walk. Now Steve Pearce. Pearce had a ground ball base hit through the 5-6 hole into left field his first time. That was his 500th career hit. Pearce is playing in his 12th big league season. He has spent parts of 5 seasons with the Orioles. 2 different stints. Actually 3 different stints. There's one time he got designated by the Orioles. They had an injury and they called him back before he ever left town.
That's right. That's right. He was out visiting with some of his ex-teammates today. And they were getting ready for the ball game. Stay hot.
I like the strike zone of the home plate umpire, Chris Siegel. He's been very consistent for both pitchers.
Very consistent. And, you know, if I'm John Gibbons right now, I'm turning them loose. We saw what Pierce could do with good fastballs down in Texas with a couple of home runs. I'm turning them loose 3-0 here.
Green light, get up, ball. Good call, Terry. 3-0 home run, a 2-run shot for Pierce.
You know, as a manager, you sit over there and you watch a guy swing the bat and you watch his at-bats. You say, this might be a time in the game where I got to let my guy swing it. We didn't get much in the last inning when we loaded the bases with nobody out. This might be a chance to do it, and Steve Pierce comes through again.
His first home run on a 3-0 count in his career. His 82nd career home run. His third of the season. John Gibbons made an effort to keep Pierce in the lineup, started him in right field, then he responds.
Boy, what a swing. Watch how he waits, recognizes, and then uncorks that ball way out of here. And the reaction from Dylan Bundy told it all. He didn't want to even look at it. See ya.
Boy, on a cold night, a hitter gets a 3-0 count. He's been hot like Pierce. Turned him loose. And John Gibbons was rewarded. This is Yanirvis Solarte batting for the first time. Solarte came into the ball game as a pinch runner for Kendrys Morales in the second.
Kendrys looked like he might have hurt that on his base hit.
He strikes out. That ends the inning. 3 strikeouts in the inning. But Steve Pierce, it's his third home run of the season. A 2-run shot to left field. The Blue Jays continue to score runs via the home run. 2-0 Jays.
Enter the code MBJ2983 to earn My Blue Jays points for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage, and the code must be entered by 4 a.m. It was a couple of innings ago that Kendrys Morales left the game. The Blue Jays have now made it official. It is left hamstring tightness, and he is diagnosed with a grade 1 hamstring strain. That's from the medical staff. He will be reevaluated tomorrow. Buck, you have to think a disabled list trip is likely for Morales.
Yeah, you would think so, Arash. Any kind of hamstring issue, certainly. You have the ability to put him on a 10-day DL and let him get healthy. I'm surprised it was his left hamstring. We saw him reach to the back of his right hamstring while he was on base, but that's the official report, left hamstring strain. 2-0 Blue Jays. Manny Machado drew a walk his first time up. The Blue Jays have now homered in 10 of their 11 games.
Most in baseball.
The Rangers are next. They've homered in 8 games. Then the Cardinals, A's, Yankees, and Angels have all homered in 7, as have the Orioles. Machado gets jammed and flares it down the right side. He might need a new bat. Hap got deep in his kitchen, and indeed he needs a new bat. Put a little stickum on it and doctor it all up before he steps back in the box.
See, that's why I think the 4-seam fastball inside by J. Happ is so important, because his 2-seamer, something he's thrown the last couple of years, has really come into become a really good pitch for him. Ball goes down and away to the righties, but you got to keep him honest inside.
The home run that Pierce hit, also the 16th home run by the Blue Jays. They are now 1 behind the Angels, who have hit 17. Angels are in Texas tonight.
Yeah, they inch closer with extra base hits too. They're now just 2 behind the Angels, who lead with 39 extra base hits this season.
There's a drive, and this one's going to go. Manny Machado has just gone deep against J. Happ. For Machado, we told you he's starting to heat up. That's his 3rd home run in his last 4 games.
Well, Blue Jays and Orioles are at it, so you got to figure there's going to be some home runs in this series. When you miss your spot against home run hitters, they tend to not come back. Looked like he was trying to get that fastball up one more time. The previous pitch was a high fastball, but it was away. This one they wanted to go up and in, but he just can't get it there.
Missed down out over the plate. Watch the belt-high fastball, and happened to his guy. Blue Jays and the Orioles, they score the highest percentage of their runs via the home run. Cleveland leads the American League. 63% of their runs come on long balls. The Orioles are second. The Blue Jays are 4th.
That's why it's imperative. Every pitch becomes so important, because top to bottom, these lineups can knock it out of the ballpark.
Well, that is life in the American League East. The lineups are stacked. Jones hits it high in the air. It's playable. Down the left side. Diaz, now Solarte stays with it. Good job by Solarte. Diaz had called for it, but I don't think he was going to make the play. Solarte never took his eye off the ball, stayed with it, and he ultimately makes the catch.
Yeah, Diaz just didn't look real sure of himself, where Yonever Solarte did. That pop-up priority, that's the shortstop's ball, but it kept drifting on him. Solarte stayed right with it to record the out against Scope.
I think Diaz knew that he was in a tough spot. He was wandering around trying to get under that, never got comfortable. So Scope pops out to the 3rd baseman. Adam Jones called for the strike. Jones struck out, part of Happ striking out the side in the 1st. He struck out the side in the 2nd as well.
Looked like it might have been his cutter right there. I tell you, he has really come along as a pitcher over the last couple of seasons. I think he understands who he is.
Jones stays on that cutter and golfs it into right field. It's a good example of a good hitter hitting a good pitch. Well, we talk about J. Happ being Mr. Consistency for the Blue Jays. He's in his 6th season with the Blue Jays, over his 2nd different stint. You look at the most wins by a Blue Jays pitcher since 2016. Jay's the leader of the pack.
Yeah, he might not get the publicity that the other guys get. I'll tell you what, you look up when the day's done, and who's the leader in the house? It's J. Happ. 31 wins since 2016. One of those seasons was the big 20-win season.
20-4. Hap spent some time on a DL last year. Chris Davis struck out his first time up.
Blue Jays are switching up their defense now after strike one to Chris Davis. Let's make sure Diaz can come across the bag and shortstop on any ground ball to the right side.
Ground ball. Travis at second, goes to second for one, back to first, double play. A 4-6-3 double play ends the inning, but the Orioles get on the scoreboard. Manny Machado with a leadoff home run deep to left field, his third homer of the season. And the Blue Jays hold on to that 2-1 lead.
But another check mark in the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. journey. This was yesterday. His first home run at the AA level. It came for New Hampshire on a tape measure solo shot. And keeping tabs on it, Papa Bear, who simply tweeted, "The first of many." And the first for Vlad Jr. in AA. Buck?
Indeed, and Vladdy's got a couple of RBIs tonight. He must have walked or had a sac fly. Bo Bichette is 2 for 2 tonight. His average at 400. He is double. And the New Hampshire team off to a 4-0 start. Start of play tonight. They are in the Trenton taking on the Yankees AA team. Russell Martin will lead things off. The Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead as we head to the top of the fourth. Bundy came off that fastball, came out of his delivery and missed badly down and away. Down and in, that ball ran away from his arm.
He was a high school draft pick out of Oklahoma, Dylan Bundy, and I told you he had some problems physically his first couple of years in professional baseball. Drafted in 2011 and actually pitched a couple of games for the Orioles in 2012. I remember seeing him when he first came in to the big leagues. He hadn't developed yet, not to where he is now. Tell you what, that draft that he came out of was loaded with future major leaguers.
Yeah, look at the list, especially the pitchers 1 and 3. Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer. Dylan Bundy was 4. Anthony Rendon, the Nationals' third baseman. Francisco Lindor, the great shortstop. Javi Baez. What a list of great players in that 11th class.
Hey, any of those guys could have been the #1 pick overall, if you ask me.
Off the end of the bat of Kevin Pillar. 2 quick outs for Bundy here in the fourth.
You know, if you redraft those top 10 players right there, I mean, any of them could have gone 1 through 10. George Springer's turned into an all-star. Francisco Lindor, please, you could start a team with Francisco Lindor. Garrett Cole's off to a great start with Houston this year. Bundy's finally come into his own.
The Blue Jays had 5 picks in the first round. 21st pick was Tyler Beatty, who didn't sign. They had picks at 35, 46, 53, and 57. The only one that's still in their organization, Dwight Smith Jr., was taken 53rd as compensation for Kevin Gregg, signing elsewhere. You mentioned Bundy was drafted 4th by the Orioles. His brother Bobby Bundy was an 8th round pick in 2008. Pitched in the Orioles system all up until last year. Got to AAA for a few games. Ground ball. Machado takes it on the short hop. Fires in time. Well, Dylan Bundy gives Buck Showalter what he wanted, a shutdown inning after Manny Machado homered. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th.
Get a t-shirt of that man. The Bringer of Rain giveaway on Thursday, April 26th. That's for the first 15,000 fans in attendance. You can join pregame in the WestJet flight deck for live music and entertainment. BlueJays.com for tickets for the Bringer of Rain t-shirt giveaway for the Blue Jays third baseman who's playing first base tonight.
Indeed, he is. Arash playing first base after Kendrick Morales, the starter, was taken out with a leg injury. This is Danny Valencia, former Blue Jay. He reached on an error by Josh Donaldson, his first time. Donaldson ranging wide to his right, fielded a ground ball, tried to hit Jay Happ on the run and missed him. That allowed Valencia to reach.
Valencia brought over here to team up with Chris Davis over there at first base, or DH. He's had big numbers against left-handed pitching the last couple of seasons. At that home run swing, and never gets cheated when he swings the bat.
Danny Valencia played with the Blue Jays part of 2014, part of 2015 with the Blue Jays over those 2 seasons. Hit 9 home runs. Valencia has played with Minnesota, his original team. Baltimore, 2 different stints. This is second. He's also played in Oakland, Boston, Kansas City, and Seattle. Pulled foul outside of third.
Tell you, 1 strike, 2 strike, doesn't matter. He is ready to swing it. Good low ball hitter. Good Russell looking at him. You see him from behind the plate. He was checking Valencia, make sure he wasn't peeking back at him.
What are hitters looking for when they look back?
Well, you can look for the sign if you're really good, or you can see where that catcher is set up. Russell will always look up to see where that hitter is. He's peeking back at him before he puts the sign down.
High fly ball deep to left field. Granderson on the warning track. He's got room, and he's going to make the catch. 1 away.
The 2018 Civic. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Jay Happ has pitched very well on the road. He is one of 5 American League pitchers to win at least 15 games on the road since 2016. And it's a who's who of pitchers in the American League. Carlos Carrasco leads the pack. He's 18-7. Chris Sale is 18-10. Corey Kluber 16-7. Jay Happ then 15-6, and Cole Hamels 15-7. Jay Happ with the big boys. Yep.
Yeah, a few Cy Youngs with those guys.
And I think you mentioned it earlier. Jay certainly doesn't get the attention, and nor does he seek it. But boy, he has been Mr. Consistency for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he just comes to work each day, brings his lunch pail and works. Not just when he pitches. It's going to be an easy play for Donaldson. But you watch him working out in between starts. We talked already about his side session between his last start and this start. It looks like he's made that correction. He works hard. He comes to work, and you don't hear anything. He's never out there tooting his own horn. He's just going out there and just being Mr. Pro.
Pete Walker, a big fan of Jay Happ's, and Happ's equally a fan of Pete Walker's. Anthony Santander, a strikeout victim back in the second. Boy, it just looks like the hitters are about a half a second late.
I wouldn't change anything. I'd go a little bit higher if I could.
Or just throw one on the inside corner. So Happ makes quick work of Santana. 7 strikeouts through 4 innings in the Blue Jays lead. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle in the Samsung broadcast studio.
TV. Subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. A couple of injury updates. Andrew Bogart's out 10 to 14 days with an ankle fracture, and the Cubs have put Anthony Rizzo on the DL with a back issue. Buck.
Sooner or later, they're going to have to put a limit on the number of people you can put on the DL. Everybody's going on the DL, and it's unfortunate. Ledmus Diaz hit a rocket, but right to the third baseman, Tim Beckham.
You can't guide it. All you can do is just let it go offensively and hope you can get it by one of the Baltimore Orioles third baseman. For years, we've been saying that, the Oriole third baseman. Here's another one, Tim Beckham, as that ball hooks right into his glove.
Beckham played shortstop last year, did a good job in short. Now he's at third. Curtis Granderson has struck out and walked. He walked and scored on Steve Pearce's 2-run home run in the third. Blue Jays, their third trip through the lineup. A little bit better idea what they're dealing with in Dylan Bundy tonight. He's allowed 2 runs on 3 hits. Steve Pearce at a 3-0 pitch into the seats in left. He's 2 for 2.
That's some patience right there for Granderson. 2-0 fastball. Most guys are coming out of their shoes to swing.
Off the end of the bat. That is Beckham playing near second. He makes the play. 2-away. So now they'll go back to a conventional defensive alignment for Josh Donaldson. They're going to pull the 3 infielders to the left side, and Donaldson will deal with that shift as he always does. You see where Chris Davis is, the first baseman, way off the bag at first.
Isn't it interesting how certain teams play certain hitters one way and then other teams play them a different? We didn't see the Texas Rangers do this with Josh Donaldson.
No, you don't, and obviously the Orioles and Blue Jays play 19 games a year. They see Donaldson a lot. I think, too, it depends on your pitcher. Can he command his pitches? Can he hit his spots? You line up the defense, he misses his spots, you're going to cross everybody up.
We talked about that when we were down in Texas, about how Donaldson has that ability to hit the ball with authority the other way. And it's odd to watch a team then put 3 infielders on the left side of the infield. But again, that could be how they're going to pitch to him also.
Well, they threw him a slider there, and Donaldson struck out on a slider his last time up. He hangs in there and taps that one off home plate. You know, the season started early, March 29th, and because of that, there are a lot of games being played in awful conditions. There are 4 teams in baseball who started play hitting under 212. Teams. Cleveland Indians are batting 158. And they got a bunch of great hitters.
Great hitters. They might not warm up until the weather warms up.
They are batting 100 points lower than their average from a year ago. I just think there's so many games been playing in awful conditions. It's tough on the hitters. Donaldson fights off that fastball.
Did you see the Cubs today? See their field under snow? Underwater? No, under snow.
That's curious because on the south side of Chicago, Tampa Bay and the White Sox played. I'm sure it wasn't beautiful. It's 35 degrees, but they played. Bundy gets another strikeout. It's Donaldson for a second time. 3 up, 3 down. Bundy has retired 7 in a row since the Pearce home run. here, and again, he's doing a number on the Orioles.
Yeah, throwing that fastball right by him for the most parts tonight. Hitting his spots and elevating the fastball when he needs to. 7 more strikeouts tonight, just 1 walk. That was the Manny Machado's second batter that he faced tonight. Boy, he has really come into his own as a pitcher.
I always harken back to Happ watching other lefties, and you see his great ratio: 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 72 pitches over 4 innings. But Happ, a couple years ago, middle of his career, he's looking around at other lefties. He said, I got better stuff than that guy, better stuff than that guy. How come I'm not winning? And by his own admission, he said, I was trying to be too fine, trying to be too perfect. Caleb Joseph hits it into the power alley in left center. Anderson plays it back in, and Joseph has a leadoff single here in the 5th.
Yeah, he wasn't controlling it like he does now. And when you control it, that ball is down, and he's hoping that someone catches it. Didn't finish off the batter that time. But when you control it the way he does and work quickly, throw strikes, good things are going to happen.
Back to the top of the order, Trey Mancini's 1 for 2. He singled to start off his night. Happ has thrown so many strikes to the Oriole hitters that they're always thinking about swinging. And then when you go through the lineup for a 3rd time, you can start pitching off the plate a little bit and maybe get some chase. Of course, he and Russell are locked in with what they've done so far tonight.
This is a big at bat. I know it's only the 5th inning, but the number 9 hitter gets a base hit. They turn the lineup over, and you gotta retire Mancini before the meat of the order starts coming up for the Orioles. They got him last time with a backdoor cutter. Froze him at the plate to pick up a strikeout. That ended the 2nd inning.
Manny Machado batting second in this lineup has walked and homered. Happ's last 10 strikeout game came last August in Chicago against the White Sox. He struck out 10 over 7 innings, picking up a win 5-1. Looks like the design in this at-bat is up and away against Mancini. Very good roll ball hitter.
Keep the ball away from his power. He can hit the ball the other way like he did his first time up.
Took a shot inside, and Mancini was able to foul it off. Full count.
Not your typical leadoff hitter by all means, but he really had a good season last year. He was in the top 5 and voting for Rookie of the Year.
Mancini draws the look. So Manny Machado homered in the 3rd. He's 25 years old, and when you look at what he has done compared to other 25-year-old or younger players, he is right there behind Bryce Harper.
Some of the best young talent that baseball has to offer right there. Odd, Harper and Machado are both going to be free agents at the end of this season. Mookie Betts, Sano, we just saw Odor, and here's the home run. Fastball, he tried to elevate it, didn't get it where he wanted to, and Machado hurts him with that long home run.
Machado will turn 26 on the 6th of July. But a free agent at 26, boy, that is very attractive. What do you think is behind his desire to move back to shortstop? He was such a terrific third baseman.
You know, I don't know.
That was his original position in the minors.
Yeah, he came up as a shortstop, signed as a shortstop, came up as a shortstop. They moved him over to third base right before he came up to the big leagues. I mean, are you trying to increase your value of being a power-hitting shortstop?
Well, when you think about this past free agent season, Mike Moustakas had a career home run year and couldn't get a contract. Had to re-sign with Kansas City as a third baseman. A little flare into right. Pierce coming in. Runners will hold, and Machado is retired.
I don't know if it helps your team, and Buck Showalter certainly thinks it's going to help his team by moving Manny Machado to shortstop, then you got to make the move. He talked about a desire to play shortstop. Maybe they're a better team with him at shortstop.
Came up to the big leagues in 2012 as a 19-year-old after having made the transition from short to third in the minor leagues. Mid-season, mind you.
If I'm the manager, I'm like, hey, wherever you want to play, he's going to help my team wherever he plays.
And we'll come and pick you up every day. Jonathan Scope. Got that hit him. Boy, it brushed his jersey ever so slightly. And he'll go to first.
Saw that in yesterday's game when Rougned Odor got hit right on the jersey on an inside pitch. They want to throw the ball in, cuts too far in, and that baggy jersey hangs it over there and gets clipped.
Just barely brushing the front of that jersey, and he's awarded first base. The bases are loaded now for the cleanup hitter, Adam Jones. Jones singled on a tough pitch down and away his last time up. He struck out back in the first.
So tough to double up the Orioles. They don't hit many ground balls. This is a fly ball hitting type of team. They do have one double play today. Chris Davis grounded into a 4-6-3 to end the third inning. But this is an Oriole team that likes to elevate the baseball.
Off the plate. Russell tried to sell it to the home plate umpire, but he wouldn't buy it. 2-0 to Jones. 3 runs in the ball game, and they've all come on the home run. 2-run shot by Pierce, a solo shot by Machado. Jones taps it back to Happ, who throws wild. What a play by Russell. And the ball hits Jones, and a run's going to come in to score. Mancini comes in to score, and they're going to call the runner out for running inside the baseline. Now Buck Showalter's coming out of the dugout. He's going to argue with Chris Singh, the home plate umpire who made the call.
He was adamant, the home plate umpire, that Jones was on the inside part of the base path, and that ends the inning.
It is a very odd rule, but it's been in the game forever. You have to run up that path, a 45-foot path up the first baseline, and if you're struck by a ball, they rule you out for interfering with a chance to make a double play. Martin made a terrific snag on the bad throw. Boy, Jones was close. I don't know how far he was in there, but it's really an oddity of the game. You have to run inside that path, but the base is on the outside of that box.
Yeah, if you run straight to the bag, you're theoretically in the line of the throw.
He appears to be on the grass all the way up the first base line.
But what a play by Russell Martin at the plate. That was a tough short hop that he picked and threw over to first base. I mean, anything could have happened. Anything bad could have happened if Russell doesn't come up with that low throw.
Buck Showalter's not giving up the argument. Jones is called out for running inside that running box. He's still talking. That umpire with his back to us is the crew chief, Jeff Kellogg. But the Blue Jays are able to get out of it. Terrific play by Russell Martin, helping out Jay Happ to get the inning-ending double play. We'll go to the 6th. Blue Jays still leading. Justin Smoke, who has struck out twice so far. Well, he's thrown him a lot of changeup. He struck him out with a 2-strike changeup in the first. He threw him a get-ahead changeup in the third, and he throws him another changeup right there. Line drive, that's going to get down as Smoke beats the shift, hits it over Scope into right field. Let's go back and look at the play that ended the bottom of the fifth. An unusual play and a terrific effort by Martin.
Yeah, Martin with the great play, but keep an eye on the home plate umpire. He's there to make the play now. He gets himself into position to see the throw from Martin up the first base line, and he's all over it, saying that he interfered with that play. Adam Jones saying, hey, I'm running right up the line where the line is the foul line. It's crazy, but the Blue Jays will take it.
It has been talked about forever. A base runner is supposed to run in that 45-foot box, but when you step on first base, you have to step outside the box. So Smoke at first. Pierce is 2 for 2. He singled and homered. Pierce lays off that tight slider. Three of his last 5 hits are home runs. He had a leadoff home run in the game on Sunday. The first pitch against Cole Hamels. Boy, he's seeing the ball very well right now. Laid off that low slider.
You start taking pitches like that, seeing tough, hard sliders like that, and then not even offering at them, you know that hitter's seeing the ball well.
What that does for a hitter is it gets him a fastball. Bundy said, man, he's on my slider. He's seeing it really well. Catcher thinks the same thing. Boy, he took that tough slider, didn't even flinch, so now Pierce got himself a fastball.
Let's change up on him and see what happens. Just misses the ball down the left field line.
Here's the 2-2. Ground ball. Beckham goes to second. Scope to first. Double play.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Dylan Bundy gets a double play. He's struck out 8 so far. He thought that was the 3rd out of the inning. He was done. That'll be enough.
Wait
Come
a
on
minute.
back, Dylan.
Wait a minute. Okay. Got a baseball.
Enervis Solarte has 1 plate appearance. That was back in the 3rd. He struck out to end the 3rd inning. Little flare. Shortstop Machado backing up. He makes the catch. Good inning for Dylan Bundy. Gives up a base hit. Double play and a pop-up. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Jay Happ has a 2-1 lead.
results. He says in almost half of his at-bats, he's been squaring the ball up, but just not getting hit. So what the Blue Jays have done is they've gone back with him into the video room and brought up film of when Grichuk had success, especially in 2015, 2016, to remind him of what he could do and can do when he was with the Cardinals, and also to get out of the crouch at the plate, hoping that he can get his legs going more. John Gibbons says there's no doubt Grichuk is pressing, and Grichuk said in times like this, you have to stay in your own head and you can't let it snowball on you.
Absolutely. Grichuk is 0 for his last 26, and it sounds like a lot, but as Curtis Granderson said in the post-game interview with Hazel May yesterday, hey, if this was June or July, nobody would take notice, but it's right at the start of the season with a new ball player.
On a new team, and so everybody notices, and there's no doubt he's going to hit. And he's going to hit his share of home runs, too. You have to wait for him to get hot. And he will.
Chris Davis. Davis has struck out and grounded into a double play.
He's in swing mode right now. You can see he has struggled over his last 6 games, 2 for 17. He does have a home run, but 7 strikeouts. He's in swing mode, so get anything close, and I think you can get him.
Well, he is such a dangerous hitter. I don't care what kind of a slump he's in. He's always a threat to go deep.
He's been battling some illness the last couple of days. He's been sick. Didn't play in the game yesterday.
Davis against the Blue Jays coming into this game has 38 career home runs. He and Adam Jones have always been tough on the Blue Jays pitching staff. Boy, that's a great pitch. He expanded that breaking ball, got it off the plate for another strikeout, and you can see how frustrated Chris Davis is.
You can also see how strong he is. After the strikeout, you could tell he was in swing mode, so you didn't have to throw him a strike, just kept punching that slider away from him. And frustrated, finally, he just went back and just took that bat and just snapped it over his knees. Do you know how hard that is, or how strong you have to be able to do that?
Well, Bo Jackson is the guy that I first saw do that, and Chris Davis is a big, strong man. I do that, I'd be on the DL hurting my knee. This is Danny Valencia. Ground ball. Donaldson's playing at first, and he'll flip to J. Happ. This time they connect for the out. 2 away. But hitting is tough, even for great hitters like Davis. It becomes frustrating, and wow, this is a great example of how strong he is.
Look at the toothpicks that are come flying off of that bat. I mean, right in half. I saw Bo Jackson take a bat like that after striking out, and he put it on his helmet and pulled down and snapped the bat over his head.
Pedro Alvarez talking with Davis on the bench, and it's hard. Hitting is extremely hard. You know, we talk about Randal Grichuk 0 for his last 26, and we have a list of the longest 0-fers in franchise history. There's a lot of big names on this list.
Big names on that list.
Including Pat Tabler and Buck Martinez. There's some little names on the list, too. But Ed Sprague is the all-time 0-for leader. He's 0 for 25. That happened in '94. 0 for 35 for Sprague. Alex Gonzalez 0 for 33. That's the first Alex Gonzalez.
Yeah, the first Alex.
And then Buck Martinez. He's third on the list.
I asked you today, I said, all right, how long did it take you to amass that 0 for 32?
A month.
A whole month?
Yeah. You know, you don't play every day.
That was a long month.
0 for 32. But you know what? I went back and I looked at the game. Scott Carson, of course, the very capable stats man. He's the one that put this list together. And he made sure he highlighted Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler. I homered for my last hit and then homered again to snap that 0 for.
Did that make it feel better then?
No.
And how long did that month feel like?
Well, that, you know,
3 months.
That was in '85. You know, everybody was doing great.
I don't remember my offer. I don't remember all the bad things.
But it's just another example of how hard hitting is. Jim Beckham works half for the walk. That's the third walk against 8 strikeouts. Happ has been very efficient. He's up to 100 pitches with 8 strikeouts, but he's pitching with 2 outs here in the 6th, and the Blue Jays bullpen now just starting to get loose. Big swing by Anthony Santana.
There's been a little hole right up there. There's Danny starting to get loose. That's his second throw right there, so it's going to take a little bit to get ready, but there's been a little bit of a hole above the belt for Santander tonight. Jay Happ has found it.
Well, he comes right back, and you know, this is an old-fashioned approach that Happ is using tonight. You get down the bottom of the order, you get ahead of a guy, finish him off. He's down at the bottom of the order for a reason. 0-2, 2 outs. Got it. 3-pitch strikeout, and Santana has struck out 3 times tonight. That's 9 strikeouts for Jay Happ, and that might be his last batter of the game. He used that fastball very well. Upstairs again. Martin says, "Give it to me upstairs," and Happ delivers. Of Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership. 7th inning, first game in Baltimore this year, and the Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead. Russell Martin goes after the first pitch off Dylan Bundy. The Blue Jays have the lead 2-1. They've been out hit 5-4. All 3 runs in this ball game have come off the home runs. Jay Happ has 9 strikeouts.
And he might be done. It's been a typical Orioles Blue Jays type of game, hasn't it? We told you these teams haven't scored a lot of runs combined the last couple of seasons. And when they do score, they come off the home run.
There's a curveball that Bundy has thrown intermittently, and that one's a good one. He's shown a 4-pitch mix tonight. Fastball, slider, curveball, and a changeup. Caleb Joseph, the catcher, wanted that called strike. He might have been right.
He wanted that high fastball that time from Bundy. The breaking ball.
You can see why the Orioles are very pleased with the development of Dylan Bundy. We mentioned he won 13 games a year ago. He's had 2 good starts so far. Now he's carried it into a 3rd. And drops that slider on Bundy. That's 9 strikeouts for Bundy. Both pitchers racking up lots of strikeouts tonight.
Jay doing it with the fastball. Dylan Bundy doing it with the slider. It's a tough pitch down and away. Hard breaking ball. Here's the spin. Again, talking to some of the Blue Jays today, asking him what to expect from Dylan Bundy. Said his slider has been unbelievable this year.
Well, he's really locked in. He can throw it for called strikes. He can get swings and misses, and Jay Happ has done just the same with his fastball. 0-1, 1 out. Tim Beckham takes another rocket and snares that line drive. He did that against Diaz earlier in the game. Now he takes one away from Pilar.
Tough to get it by an Oriole third baseman. It's been decades. Doug DeCences, Brooks Robinson, Cal Ripken, Manny Machado, and now Tim Beckham snares that one.
There are no hits down there at 3rd, at least tonight. 2 away.
This looks like it's heading into the outfield for a hit for Pilar. The curves right into the glove of Beckham.
Devin Travis swings at a slider. It's 0-2.
Somewhere Kevin Pilar is going to be owed a blooper base hit after hitting a ball that hard and having nothing to show for it.
Oh, 2. Bundy comes after Travis with a high fastball. He has 10 strikeouts through 7 innings. But the Blue Jays have the lead. Steve Pearce with a 2-run home run back in the 3rd. Danny Barnes coming on to take over for Jay Happ. Allowed 1 run on 5 hits. The only run, a Manny Machado home run. He walked 3, struck out 9 through 104 pitches. Happ was very good once again versus Baltimore. 9 strikeouts for Jay Happ. And he will turn things over now to the bullpen. The first one out of the pen will be the right-hander, Danny Barnes.
That's 2 outings in a row for Jay where he has struck out 9 batters. So Danny Barnes will take over. 6th time that we have seen Danny so far this season. Opponent's on-base percentage just 182. He's been very effective. And asked him today how the slider's coming along. He says it's getting there. Still a type of pitcher that can use that fastball changeup combination. I'm looking for improvement with my slider, and he's very proud that he got a strikeout with that slider in that last appearance.
Gets ahead of Caleb Joseph with the first pitch strike. Joseph is 1 for 2. Pretty good pitch. Barnes didn't get the call. Ball on the strike to the number 9 hitter. Michael Gibbons, a hard-throwing righty, is loosening up as Bundy has gone 7 strong innings. Bundy has thrown 101 pitches, Happ threw 104. Boy, isn't it nice to see pitchers pitching deep into the games? Bundy was 7 innings in the book.
Yeah, they're getting their arm strength back coming out of spring training. And on the losing end right now. Let's see if the bullpen can make it stand up.
Danny Barnes uses a fastball for a strikeout. His first.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
First of 3 games here in Baltimore. That is the Inner Harbor, about 3 blocks away from this ballpark, Oriole Park in Camden Yards. 1 out. Trey Mancini looks at a first pitch changeup for ball 1.
You know, most pitchers will go in and out. They'll pitch in to get outs away, or they'll pitch away to get outs in on hitters. They go side to side. Danny Barnes is a little bit different. He will pitch down to get the out up, or vice versa. He can go up in the strike zone and then get the out down in the strike zone. A little bit different than most pitchers. Fastball's up, and he uses that very effectively high in the strike zone.
Fastball missed away. 2-1 to Mancini. Mancini has singled, struck out, and walked. Ripped past Travis into center field. Mancini has his second hit of the ball game.
He's been on base 3 times. There was a line drive to the glove side of Danny Barnes. It looked like Danny had a shot to reach out there and grab it, but he comes up empty. Then you hope that Travis is there. He can't get to it. The ball's hit just too hard.
Well, Trey Mancini doing his job, hitting out the leadoff spot. Been on base 3 times. Manny Machado has walked, homered, and flied out. Machado had 4 hits, 2 walks, 2 home runs in New York on Friday. His first 7 games, he was 0 for, had a home run or an RBI. Now in his last 4 games, he's hit 3 home runs. Ground ball. Solarte can't make the play. Into left field. Machado is aboard. Back-to-back 1-out hits off Barnes here in the 7th.
That was the changeup designed to get the ground ball at somebody, but it's just out of the reach of Solarte, the third baseman. You throw the changeup down, and you want that right-handed batter to roll over that and get the ground ball. Well, you can see Solarte dives, and it's out of his reach.
The Blue Jays have turned 2 double plays tonight. A third one would be sweet here in the 7th. Jonathan Scope was hit by a pitch in the 5th. Boy, that's a center cut pitch that he hit right off the end of the bat. He was out in front. Barnes ahead 0-2.
That's what I mean about up in the strike zone to get outs down in the strike zone. heard pitching coaches over the years say fastballs in, sliders away, but Barnes is different. Fastballs up, changeups down. And again, he's been working on a slider to give something else for those hitters to think about.
Going upstairs, they wanted him to chase, and he laid off. 1-2. John Axford starting to loosen up for the Jays. Bottom of the 7th inning. Danny Barnes taking over for Jay Happ, who was good through 6 innings. There's that slider just off the end of the bat.
He had him set up beautifully for that slider just off the plate. Couple of fastballs up, and then a slider away. And unfortunately for the Blue Jays, Scope was just able to tip it, just get a piece of it.
Going away again. Fastball ripped into center. Pilar is back. He'll make the catch. And the runners will have to hold as Mancini went halfway. Thought about going back to tag up. By the time he did, it was much too late. And he's already in scoring position.
That's a reactionary play. You got to be able to read that ball off the bat as soon as possible. Know where those outfielders are set up. They can't advance on that long fly ball. Pilar did a good job of getting back there, catching it, and then releasing quickly, getting the ball back in.
Adam Jones 1 for 3. Jones is 0 for 3 facing Danny Barnes. 2 outs. New look. Danny Barnes drops the first pitch slider on Adam Jones.
A little wrinkle right there to get strike 1.
Orioles have had a tough time with runners in scoring position. 0 for 6 with 0 for 8 with 6 strikeouts. Fly ball to left field. Granderson on the run. He'll get there, and that ends the inning. Danny Barnes pitches out of a jam. The Orioles 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position, and the Blue Jays still have the lead as we go to the 8th.
The 2-month grind, all for the cup. The 2018 Stanley Cup playoffs on SportsCenter and CBC. It all begins on Wednesday. We will know more on Kendrys Morales tomorrow. He'll be reevaluated then with that hamstring. But guys, the Blue Jays have corrected it. Your Hawkeyes were correct. Right hamstring, not left for Kendrys Morales.
Yeah, we could see that when he was running the bases, and I'm sure it's just a miscommunication. This is Michael Gibbons making his 6th start, and Gibbons has a great arm, and he's a converted infielder. He has done a great job as a relief pitcher.
from Plant City, Florida. Had a baseball scholarship to Oklahoma State. Was a #2 draft pick of the Orioles. Signed. Being a everyday player didn't work out, but he always possessed a strong arm. And it has really transitioned well into the bullpen. Fastball, slider, that's what you're going to get from him.
Let Miss Diaz take strike 2. Givens has had a lot of success against the Blue Jays for his career. This is his 21st appearance. He's got a 4-0 record. The Jays have hit just 171 against him. Diaz aligned a shot to the third baseman back in the 5th. Hits out to the right side this time for a base hit. Dylan Bundy started for the Orioles, and he's on the hook for the loss as we speak. The Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead. Bundy, with 10 strikeouts for the fourth time in his career, goes 7 innings for the second time this season. Most of the Blue Jays did just 4 hits, 2 runs. That was a Steve Pearce 2-run home run in the 3rd. Pearce's 3rd home run of the season.
And those 2 earned runs were the most he's given up in a game this year. So he's given up 3 earned runs total in 20 innings this season.
Curtis Granderson, he walked in the 3rd and scored on the Pearce home run.
Look, that's Manny Machado right there at third base. You know, he's the shortstop. He's in there just in case Curtis Granderson slides that hand up the bat and they're going to sacrifice.
Interesting. Machado's done that a lot in his career.
And I think that's why they're in this defensive position. Beckham, 3 infielders on the right side of the infield, and Machado at the third base bag, basically.
Ryan Tepera loosening up now. Tepera worked out of a tough situation in the 7th inning in yesterday's game. Struck out Beltre and then got Gallo to pop out to end the inning. Anderson hits it past Diaz into right field. Diaz is going to stop at second as he had to hold up to make sure that ball was safely through. So Granderson has his first hit of the night.
And the new guy is getting it done again. Granderson 2-0. He's going to rip this fastball by the infield. But watch Diaz takes his secondary lead. He's got to hold up so he doesn't get hit by that ball, and he can only move up to second base. Good start for 2 of the new members of the Blue Jays here this inning.
Josh Donaldson 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Dylan Bundy pitched him tough. Really used that slider very effectively. Donaldson just 1 for 7 against Michael Givens. Outside. This is where Donaldson will make an adjustment. If they continue to work him outside, he'll go with the pitch and line it into right.
We've seen how many home runs, countless number of home runs to right field on fastballs away. Looks like they're going to stay out there.
Pearce hit his home run on a 3-0 count in the 3rd. Donaldson has a 3-0 count here in the 8th.
Yeah, Caleb Joseph just told Michael Givens, hey, he's going to be swinging away, so don't just throw this one in here.
Missed widely by Givens, and Donaldson will walk. That will load the bases. Not exactly what Bud Showalter had on his mind when he went to the bullpen. 2 singles and a walk now. Looks like he's going to play for 2. 2 up the middle.
Their bullpen has been really overworked the last couple of games.
11 innings on Friday. 9 innings on Friday, 11 innings yesterday. Have pitched a lot over the weekend in New York. Played extra inning games on Friday and Sunday. Justin Smoke has a grand slam this year. course, he hit that against the Yankees and David Robertson. Pitching coach Roger McDowell out to have a chat here in this situation. Second season for McDowell as a pitching coach. Now you see Aaron Luke starting to throw. You look at the hitters. Chris Davis is the leadoff man in the bottom of the 8th for the Orioles. That might be a one-and-done matchup for Luke.
Yeah, depending on what the Blue Jays do offensively here in the top of the inning. If you're the manager, this is where you're like, okay, let's bust it open right now. We've had some opportunities early in this game. They had the bases loaded in the second inning. Left the bases loaded in the second inning.
So Nestor Cortez Jr. for the Orioles loosening up. That's a tough strike on Smoke.
They were not able to score in that second inning after they loaded the bases.
Gibbons and Joseph had a little tough time getting their heads together on this 1-1 pitch. Pretty good looking pitch. Call goes in Smoke's favor. It's 2 balls and a strike. Up left field. Mancini moving going toward the line. Diaz is tagging at third. He's going to go home. Here's the throw to the plate, right on the money. Trey Mancini threw a one-hop strike to Caleb Joseph. Did a good job. It wasn't that deep, and you can't blame the Blue Jays for trying to cash in here on this cold night in Baltimore.
Yeah, Mancini had 5 outfield assists last year. His momentum brings him home, but watch the throw. One hop to the inside part of home plate. An easy play for Caleb Joseph. That's as accurate a throw as you're ever going to see, and really an easy play for Joseph to tag out the runner.
It was a good gamble by the Blue Jays, and Mancini gunned down Diaz at the plate. Steve Pearce.
Ball handcuffed him just a little bit, but as a catcher or anybody, you want a one-hop throw that comes right up to you. That long hop. Easy to catch.
Pierce hits a fly ball into right center, and that ball is going to drift over into right. Santander is there. The inning is over. Trey Mancini makes a nice play to save a run for Michael Gibbons. It's still a 2-1 Blue Jays lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe
Jays out of a real jam. Bases loaded, one out. Got Adrian Beltre and Joey Gallo. Much been made of Tepera adding a changeup to his arsenal for this season. So I dug deeper into it with him. He said, look, I started throwing it in January, tinkered with the grip a couple of times, found the right one in February. It's a circle changeup that's more of a ground ball pitch. He likes the diving action on it. The changeup is 88 on the gun, about 4 or 5 miles an hour off his fastball, and he used it yesterday in that 7th inning in Arlington. Buck, he says, it's that pitch I like to have in my back pocket.
Well, anytime you've been in the league for a few years, the league's going to pick up on things, and you can add a new pitch. Danny Barnes added the slider. Ryan Tepera is adding the changeup. Barnes out of the game. Tepera in. Randall Grichuk moves into right field defensively, taking over for Steve Pearce here in the 8th. So Tepera will draw Chris Davis, Danny Valencia, and Tim Beckham. Those are the scheduled hitters. But already you can see Pedro Alvarez has come out on deck to bat for Valencia. 2-1 ball game. First pitch breaking ball, and Davis flails at it.
Yeah, that's a good first pitch. Remember his last at bat that he was in swing mode and ready to swing at anything. So you don't have to throw him a strike.
Davis has really been struggling, so why not? You get on base in this one-run game. Now Diaz, the shortstop's going to have to come in and guard against that ball.
And the fans like the idea. They started cheering after they saw him square around.
Makes a strike. Now this is where the analysts will talk about, well, you know, he's a home run hitter. You should let him hit a home run. Well, he's striking out. He has now 9 strikeouts this season. Just 3 for 13. He bunts that one back to Tepera, who makes a terrific play. Davis trying to get on base. Tepera takes a hit away from him. No telling what happens if that ball gets past the pitcher.
I got to put a star right next to that play by Tepera. I don't think he was expecting with 2 strikes. It's down and in. Picks it up, and after he gets that ball, it's an easy play. Slider. And he makes like an infielder. Leaves his feet. Out number 1.
So there'll be a pinch hitter for Danny Valencia. It's the switch hitting Pedro Alvarez. Alvarez had a grand slam in New York in extra innings. Game-winning grand slam. First pitch slider.
Big power from Alvarez. I'm not really sure if he was going to make the team this year.
The Alvarez grand slam came in the 14th inning of that game against the Yankees, and the Orioles won it 7-3. Tepera's ahead, 0-2. The grand slam was the latest grand slam in franchise history in terms of innings. He's starting to get it going. Last 3 games have been productive. Roberto Osuna had a 4-out save yesterday against Texas, but he is to be available, but it looks like just for 1 inning.
Gibby was asked that today. Is he available, Osuna? And he said yes. But we got to get to that point. There's Roberto.
2-2. Base hit into right field. Over Travis, Grichuk plays it back in.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
We are in Baltimore at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, the first of 3 games. The game time temperature 6 degrees, but the one saving grace, not much wind.
Yeah, it's been misty raining on and off all night. There's some misty rain going on right now, so that's going to make that ball slick on any ground ball or ball into the outfield.
Tim Beckham is 1 for 2 with a walk. Shatters his bat. Solarte goes to second for 1. Back to first. Not in time. Josh Donaldson with a very good stretch over at first. But Beckham legged it out to keep the inning alive.
Beckham can really run. Anybody else on the Oriole roster doesn't beat that ball out. That was a double play ball, and the Blue Jays did everything they could to turn it. Solarte's got to wait for that ball to get to him, sets his feet, has a good throw to Travis, who gets a lot on that ball. But again, Beckham can run and clearly beats it out. Just ahead of that throw.
Anthony Santander. He struck out 3 times. Beckham has a stolen base this year. Given the conditions and watch the count, it might be time to take a shot, try to get yourself into scoring position. Not running. Popped out of play.
Santander hit a home run. There's Darren O'Day starting to get loose for the Baltimore Orioles. Santander hit a home run the other day on a 3-0 count. They cut him loose. He's got some power. They have had success tonight by elevating the fastball against them.
Fly ball down the left field line, slicing foul and into the seats. Santander, Happ struck him out 3 times. Twice swinging, once looking. Last time he struck him out on 3 pitches to end the 6th. The Orioles won the season series a year ago, 12-7. Blue Jays won just 3 of 9 games in this ballpark last year. It was the worst single season record for the Blue Jays against the Orioles since '94, the strike year. Hit into right. Grichuk back on the track. He's got room, and that'll end it. So Anthony Santander flies out. The Blue Jays get out of it. We'll go to the 9th. The Jays have a 2-1 lead. Solarte, Martin, and Pilar. sitting, type R.
Well, the Blue Jays have scored 2 runs tonight thanks to this man right here. 3-0 green light for Steve Pearce, and he takes Dylan Bundy way deep to left field. His 3rd home run on this road trip. Here in Camden Yards, way back there. That's tonight's drive of the game, brought to you by Steve Pearce with that home run. He is now out of the ball game as Randall Richard has taken over for him in right field.
John Gibbons wanted to keep Pearce in the lineup because he's swinging the bat so well. And Eris Solarte, he entered the game, in case you're just joining us, as a pinch runner for Kendrys Morales in the 2nd. Morales was taken out of the game, and he has been diagnosed with a right hamstring strain. Solarte has struck out and popped out in his 2 plate appearances. Roberto Osuna with 99 career saves, loosening up. He picked up the 4th save of the season yesterday with a 4-out save against the Rangers.
Not a bad idea. Let him go. Runs have been at a premium tonight. You know you're going to get a fastball to a home run type of hitter. You let him go. Let him swing away.
3-1 pitch. Ball 4. Solarte will take yet another walk. It's a leadoff walk here in the 9th. Gibbons entered the game in the 8th and gave up single walk, but then got a great play by Trey Mancini, the left fielder, who caught Smoke's fly ball and threw out Diaz at home plate. Russell Martin. Blue Jays have but 6 hits.
You know John Gibbons is trying to figure out a way to scratch a run across here after that leadoff walk. You don't want to take the bat out of Russell Martin's hand and sacrifice. Tough to hit and run. It's not a real good combination. Gibbons pitching, Solarte running. So you just have to sit back and hope that he does something special.
Martin facing Gibbons for the first time tonight. Gibbons came into the ball game facing the number 9 hitter, the first batter.
He's been wild, if you will. He's walked a couple of batters. He's given up a couple of hits. He's got to play it straight up.
Now, generally, Gibbons comes in firing strikes with that fastball and slider. He'll throw enough fastball strikes to get hitters to chase that slider. Outside corner.
95. He went 8 wins last year out of the bullpen, did Michael Gibbons.
We mentioned at the start of the show that the Orioles and Blue Jays combined last year to score 6.68 runs per game. That's the 2nd lowest among division rivals in the majors. And again, it's played true tonight. 3 runs all coming on the home run. Martin strikes out. 1 away.
He also led their relief corps to Michael Gibbons in strikeouts last year with 88. 88 strikeouts. Hard fastball. 95 on the outside corner. 8 wins. He was in 69 games last year. He led them in innings pitched, 78 2/3. where he struck out those 88 batters.
Kevin Pillar takes one wide for the first pitch. It's ball outside. Pillar lined out sharply to the third baseman his last time up. It was in the 7th.
He was looking like he was going to try and get 2 runs all by himself with that swing.
One and one count on Kevin Pillar. Popped up. Davis over near the railing, and it's out of his reach. Rooftop of the dugout. Kevin, for his career, has hit .302 against the Orioles. This is his 64th career game against Baltimore. He's also driven in more runs against the Orioles than any other club he's played. He's had 23 RBIs against Baltimore.
The misty rain that I was talking about was messing with his grip. He had to go back and get some stickle.
There's a base hit for Pillar. Solarte will move into second as Kevin Pillar is now 1 for 3 with a walk.
What a pretty swing that was. Gibbons is a tough customer against right-handed hitters. Pillar easily just slaps that ball the other way. There you go. Used the whole field. Was robbed of a hit his last time up.
Hit it right to the third baseman. Devin Travis 0 for 3. Cuts on the first pitch and fouls it straight back.
Blue Jays need a hit with the runner in scoring position. They've been doing a great job so far this year hitting with runners in scoring position.
Tonight they're 0 for 5 and they've stranded 5 base runners. 2 aboard here in the ninth. Travis gets hit. So that'll load the bases. Boy, the Blue Jays have had plenty of base runners. Mitchell Gibbons is not as sharp as we have seen with his command. He hits Devin Travis, and that loads him up for Aledmus Diaz.
On a cold, rainy night, that fastball right off the tricep area doesn't feel good. It's a fastball that he can't control. Just runs up and in.
And it's Nelson Cortez Jr., one of 2 left-handers in the Orioles bullpen. Aledmus Diaz got a base hit to right field on an 0-2 pitch his last time. He was the first batter Gibbons faced coming into the ball game in the 8th. Strike 2.
Reaching back for a little something extra. Now you got to cut that swing down and make some contact.
They got a piece of that backup slider. Gibbons trying to throw the slider away, missed inside, but Diaz with that emergency hack was able to foul it off and stay alive.
And just get a piece of it. Pretty good number, 7th inning or later for Diaz. This is the first time that he has faced Gibbons. I'm sure he's got the scouting report, fastball, slider. Watch out.
Wow. He almost walked into that, and that's why he has taken a stroll away from home plate. You get breaking ball in your mind, and you think, I got to really hang in there, and then that one comes up and in.
Watch where he steps. And then sees it at the last second. Tell you what, I'd back out and take a couple of deep breaths after that one.
A ball and 2 strikes. Popped up behind home plate. Caleb Joseph is there and makes the catch. 2 away. Buck Showalter has popped out of the Orioles dugout. They have a left-hander ready. Curtis Granderson is the scheduled batter for the Blue Jays. Granderson singled off of Gibbons his last time up. Showalter has Nelson Cortez Jr. ready, so Gibbons is on. Cortez Jr. is in to face Curtis Granderson. Hasn't allowed an earned run, 4 and a third innings, and the opponents have hit him hard. 389 opponents batting average.
Yeah, his fastball is just average right now. Upper 80s, low 90s fastball. He's got good command with it. Change-up, curveball. What you're going to get, he's going to have to change speeds against the Blue Jays. He's got a left-hander up there in Granderson. So Curtis has come up with some big hits for the Blue Jays already early in this season. Great opportunity for him right now against the left-hander.
1 for 4 on the season for Granderson against lefties. 2 outs, the bases are loaded. Blue Jays coming into this game have been terrific, delivering clutch hits. Tonight they're 0 for 6 in run scoring situations. Slow breaking ball.
That's it. He's going to have to locate his pitches. Command and control, because the fastball is not one of those electric fastballs that you're used to seeing coming out of bullpens nowadays.
Three and 0, nothing close yet, and you know Granderson will make him throw a strike.
I saw him earlier take a 2-0 fastball. Right now he's saying, I want to see you throw 2 strikes. I'll take one of them.
There's the first strike. 3-1. First time Cortez Jr. has faced the Blue Jays.
Chose him out of the Yankee organization at a Rule 5 pick, as a Rule 5 pick this past December.
A bases loaded walk, and the Blue Jays will get another run. Cortez Jr. forces in a run. Granderson picks up his 3rd RBI of the season. That's a huge run here in the 9th inning.
Boy, is it ever. Anytime you can get some insurance on the road.
3-1 Blue Jays. We mentioned the Orioles bullpen has pitched a lot lately. Had 2 extra inning games in the last 3 games.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of options in that pen.
Josh Donaldson with the bases loaded. Donaldson is 0 for 3 with a walk. For his career, he has hit 3 grand slams. The icing on the cake here in the ninth.
Yeah. Something into the outfield.
The Blue Jays have been terrific scoring late in ball games. They have now scored 21 runs in the 7th inning or later, the most in the majors. Those late inning runs obviously come against the tough part of the opponent's bullpen, and the Blue Jays have been up to the task.
In the clutch, coming up with clutch base hits. Could use one right here to open up this ball game.
Driven to center, and that one's going to go. Get out of here, God! Josh Donaldson with his 4th career grand slam. Indeed, some icing on the cake here in the ninth.
Another extra base hit for the Blue Jays. Another home run for the Blue Jays. Another home run from the 7th inning on or later. Another hit with runners in scoring position. One swing of the bat by Josh Donaldson that's sending the fans home.
They got up in unison when that ball went over the fence in center. For Josh Donaldson, his 4th career grand slam, the 2nd grand slam for the Blue Jays this season. Smoke goes after the first pitch.
He took 2 fastballs and fell behind 0-2 very quickly. Saw a couple of breaking balls, and there go all the fans. As soon as that ball left the ballpark, they all got up in unison and left. But finally got a fastball to his liking. Here it is. They try to go inside, and he smokes that ball, clubs it on a line to center field.
Smoke hits it off the end of the bat. That's going to drop for a base hit. For Smoke, that's his 2nd hit of the night.
What are you going to do now, Buck?
And the Orioles bullpen has given it up late here. Josh Donaldson, his 3rd home run of the season.
It's a high fastball that he gets on top of and keeps that swing right through. Ball is up. Watch how he stays above the baseball with his bat. Level swing right through it. Finish that swing.
Steve Pearce's spot. This is Randall Grichuk batting. Pierce started the game and homered in the 3rd. Pierce finished up 2 for 4. Grichuk getting his first at bat of the ball game.
Blue Jays have had a few opportunities tonight slip by, but not this inning.
1 for 7 now with runners in scoring position. Grichuk hits it hard to center. Jones is back. It's over his head and off the wall. Smoke is going to go to 3rd, and Randall Grichuk snaps his 0 for 26 with a ringing double off the wall. That'll make him relax a bit.
He was getting closer and closer. He actually took some pretty decent swings in Texas and was just missing the ball, driving the center fielder back deep. Here's the numbers you were just talking about. He said, "Can I have the ball? Will you throw me the ball?" Gets all of this one. Gets it over the head of Jones. But when you watch hitters hit, you can just tell that they're ready to come out of it. They're ready to start getting their share of base hits. And that's a good sign. Randall Grichuk joining the hit parade.
Well, that's a big hit for Randall Grichuk, and you know he is grateful for that hit, and then he can kind of joke, "Hey, I want the ball." That snaps it 0 for 26 for Randall. Grichuk's first double of the season, his 2nd extra base hit. now 3 for 35, but that's a start.
And it was this guy right here who got it all started with a leadoff walk.
10th man to bat this inning, Enervis Solarte. He walked and scored the 3rd Blue Jays run. Came in on that bases loaded walk by Granderson. Roberto Osuna has taken a seat. John Axford has gotten up. It's a 7-1 ball game. So Osuna will wait to pitch another day. We've had some interesting developments in this game. Kenrys Morales started at first base. Smoke started in the DH spot. Morales got a base hit his first time up and then had to leave with a leg injury. Solarte came in as a pinch runner. Donaldson moved from 3rd to 1st, and Solarte took over at 3rd. Tap back toward the mound. Scope waits on it, and he has plenty of time. That'll end the inning, but what an inning it was. Josh Donaldson delivers his 3rd home run of the season. A little insurance, a grand slam home run for JD, his 4th of the season. He goes deep to center, and the Blue Jays have a 7-1 lead.
Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. You can count on us to get home safe. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Randall Grichuk came into the ballgame as a defensive replacement in the bottom of the 8th inning, and he came up and got a double. And look at the teammates in the dugout. They all know what's going on. He was 0 for 26 when he hit that double off the base of the wall, and everybody's happy for him. He snapped that long over, and then he would come around to score. New pitcher is John Axford, working here in the 9th.
5th game of the season for Axford. He's no record. He's got a 2.7 earned run average. He's worked 3 1/3 inning. He has really opened up the eyes of some of the Blue Jays starting in spring training. Fastball, cutter, curveball, 2-seamer. Did a good job his last time out. He was saying he was shortening his stride for better timing this year. That he felt like he was overstriding and he wasn't really feeling comfortable the last couple of years. Something that he wanted to work on, shorten up the stride, get the ball out of the glove faster, and it's helped him to throw strikes.
He misses with the first 2 pitches. This is Chance Cisco, the backup catcher, batting for Caleb Joseph. Three and 0. The Blue Jays scored 5 runs in the 9th to take a 7-1 lead. Now this is their 11th game. They have scored 5 or more runs in 6 of those 11 games, and they're on the verge of going 6-0 when they score more than 5. Another home run tonight. They have homered in 10 of 11 games. Steve Pearce and Josh Donaldson, now they have done a terrific job. They have 17 home runs. That ties them with the Angels for the most in the majors.
They should be right up there also in extra base hits with that double by Grichings. By my count, that should tie them with 39 extra base hits.
Ground ball pulled to Donaldson. He'll step on the bank. One away here in the bottom of the ninth. First of 3 games here in Baltimore. 2 AL East rivals. We'll be back at it tomorrow night. Make sure you join us. It all starts at 6:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 Pacific Time. That's the pregame show, hosted by Jamie Campbell. And Sanchez will toe the rubber here in Baltimore. Trey Mancini has had a good night at the plate. A couple of hits. He's walked. He's 2 for 3. Made a terrific throw to gun down a runner at home plate in the 8th inning to keep it a 2-1 ball game at the time. And he's got his 3rd hit of the ball game.
That looked like the two-seamer inside, but Mancini, he's a big guy, but he doesn't have a long swing, doesn't really stride, just uses his hands. He's got some power. Fought that two-seamer off from John Axford in the outfield.
Danny Barnes worked an inning. He gave up 2 hits, had a strikeout. Prepare in his inning of work gave up a hit, nothing more. Axford has 1 out here in the bottom of the ninth, and he has to deal with Manny Machado. Machado's 2 for 3 with a home run. The Blue Jays have turned a pair of double plays tonight. They got Chris Davis in the 3rd and Adam Jones in the 5th. All the way back to the backstop, and Mancini moves into scoring position. That erases the possibility of a ground ball double play.
Russell was going to try and barehand that ball and still make a play at second base. They got that brick wall behind home plate, and a wild pitch comes back at you very quickly.
It's that brick wall that comes right back toward home plate.
He had some thoughts of maybe catching it, and you see him look up to see where the runner was, and I don't think he was going to throw him out.
Ball in his strike to Machado. Weak ground ball. Travis waits at second. He'll take his time. Machado's retired. 2 away. Well, Josh Donaldson hit a grand slam at the top of this inning. And how about this? Major league leaders with the bases loaded in average in our own Pat Tabler, just ahead of Josh Donaldson. Tabby hit 489. Donaldson 467. Jeff Keppinger 456. But that's getting it done, partner.
He's getting closer.
Yeah.
We're going to have to talk with him. No, that's great to see. He had an outstanding at-bat. He had a plan, you can tell, in that at-bat. He took the first 2 fastballs right down the middle. Like he wanted to gauge what Mr. Cortez had.
I would venture to say that's his first career grand slam as a first baseman. He's hit 4 now.
Hasn't played first base since 2013. I'll go with that.
Well, that fastball's got a lot of movement. The Scope swings over the top of it. Scope is 0 for 3. Got hit by a pitch in the 5th. But then Adam Jones hit into that 1-2-3 double play. That ended the 5th inning. The conditions haven't been too nice all night. Now it looks like the mist has gotten a little bit heavier. Just a miserable night.
can see Max licking his fingers to help him get a better grip on that baseball so he can control it.
He controls that one now. It's 2-2 to Scope. The Orioles are down to their final strike.
Come on, Brett! Oh.
And that's it. Axford strikes out Scope to end the ball game. The Blue Jays with a big 5-run ninth inning beat the Orioles in game 1 of this 3-game series, 7-1. Couple of home runs. Steve Pearce, a 2-run shot. Grand slam by Josh Donaldson. And how about Randall Grichuk? A double in his only plate appearance to snap it over 26. Everybody contributing up and down the order tonight.
Yeah, let's don't forget about the pitchers also. Jay Happ with 6 innings, 9 strikeouts. Only 1 earned run, and Danny Barnes to pair an axe for a shutout baseball for the last 3 innings as the Jays win game 1 of this 3-game series.
Jay Happ improves to 2-1 as ERA drops down to 3.94. Strong outing for Jay Happ. We'll be back at it tomorrow night. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a great night. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central with Martine Guyard and Ken Reed.